Welcome back to Classic Firearms. I'm Brandon, and this is the GForce BLADE6. It is a 9mm PCC that takes Glock mags. Now, it's also on the more value-oriented side, so let's discuss whether or not this needs to be on your short list. Before we dive in, I'm gonna give you the tech specs first, then we'll go tip to butt talking about the features. After that, we're gonna verify some of those tech specs with measuring it, as far as length and height and all that stuff goes. We're gonna weigh it, and then after that, we're also gonna do a trigger pull. Maybe not necessarily in that order. So let's get rid of this box and talk about the tech specs. You have a 6-inch barrel that is threaded, and it does have a pretty beefy thread protector on here. Your overall length is 15 inches and an overall weight of 5.7 pounds. They do even give the trigger pull weight, which is 5.5 pounds, and most of this is made out of aluminum. We'll dive to that in just a second. Your barrel is made out of 4140 steel, and that thread pitch is at 1/2 by 28, if you were wondering. It does actually come with flip-up sights, which we'll get to in a minute once we go through the unboxing portion. And of course, it comes with those Glock mags. And you may notice that this is a bigger than normal Glock mag. We're just gonna leave it at that. I'm pretty sure you know which one this is if you're watching this video. It is in the description of the listing that you can find. Some things I just can't say on YouTube, sadly. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into that tip to butt portion of this video. As we mentioned, you do have a beefy thread protector. I'm actually just gonna take that off and show you, because normally when you have a thread protector, you're like, oh, it's kind of large, you know? It's a 9mm, but this is legitimately beefy. And it even has, I'll give you hopefully some B-roll that's better than this, 2 knurled sections on this that'll make this thing super easy to get on and off, but it does also add to that beefy aesthetic, which actually, anybody know the Fostech origin? I feel like this has design cues from that. Maybe we can get a photo to pop up as well. So we'll go ahead and move on a little farther. You do have a full Picatinny rail up top, as well as Picatinny on both the left and the right sides, and the bottom. That Picatinny is all aluminum or metal, and it feels very solid. It actually looks like all one piece right up top here. This whole Picatinny rail is all one piece. There are no breaks in it at all. So if you want to mount an optic up front and the back, whatever you want to mount, it's going to hold zero pretty well, in theory. There's also a single channel that runs all the way down the actual gun itself. So it almost would come in handy as like a backup sight if you needed it. Not meant for that, but hey, sometimes you might need it. Moving on, you do have a side charging handle right here, and it does have that HK slap ability. Let me remove the mag so it doesn't get the bolt hole open. Boom. That's, not gonna lie, for something at this value and price range, to get an HK slap that sounds good and is super solid, is quite nice. Now, these are Glock mags, which means you also do get bolt hold open. If you notice, this is non-reciprocating. Really nice feature they added in here. But it also doesn't lock back right on, you don't have to lock it back automatically. It does have a bolt hold open, which you can see clearly right there. So you do get the HK slap and you get a bolt hold open. Okay, the features are starting to add up value of this thing. You're also gonna get some sling points on either side, little clip sling points if you wanted, both on the left and the right. And then that is the front portion of the gun. As you fall back a little bit farther, you see we do have a paddle style mag release. It is large and it does go recess into the gun to get it out. Boom. And then you do have, as we fall back a little bit farther, ambi safeties. So you can use it whichever side you are dominant with. Now, that mag release is only on one side, but hey, for a value gun, they're still adding in a lot of features here. Not to mention, your bolt hold open is a large paddle on the left side. Now, it works as you would expect, keeping that Fostech design kind of language here. It slams home with, with force. It is definitely something that is satisfying sounding for sure. So let's go ahead and move on down to that grip portion. You do have a polymer grip, which is polymer on the inside, rubber on the outside here. So technically what you're touching is rubber, but you can feel that it is inlaid with polymer, so it's not just pure rubber. It does come with a finger groove. So sometimes on rubber, when your hands get sweaty, they slide a little bit. The moderately or lightly aggressive texturing on the grip will help with that not happening, but that finger groove is gonna be the most important feature for that. So it does feel good, right, overall. You're also gonna get 2 QD sling points, one on either side. You can see it right here and right there. They are really nicely placed because if you have a single point sling, it will rest right in here, which is very nice for a PDW kind of style, or a PCC in this case, style firearm. And then on the very back, you do get a Picatinny rail as well. So you can put any brace that you want on there. All in all, that's pretty nice. Now we're gonna move down to the trigger and the magazine release next. So you do actually get a bit of a flared mag well here. As you can see, it works exactly as you would expect. And it's built in, it's not an add-on plastic piece. No, this, I don't know how well you can hear that on the camera. It's made out of metal. It is quite nice and very rigid, which is great. Your mag release, so you do have this paddle one right here that you can reach AR style. You also have a kind of MP5 style one on the bottom here, which is, of course, this is more extended than you get on an MP5, of course, but you do have that option as well. I think, depending on the day, I might actually use that one more, but that's a personal opinion. Don't take that to heart. The trigger, I'll give you an example of that trigger pull now. Firearm is completely safe, and there's nothing loaded inside. We do unload firearms before we ever start any videos. Let's go ahead right into it. And let's see, we're on safe. Let's get it on fire. 3, 2. Okay, so it's a one-stage trigger for sure. Okay, there we go. A little bit of, okay, so the reset's a little bit of movement. The one stage is right there. So it's a very small movement trigger. You're gonna be able to put a lot of rounds downrange pretty quickly with this thing. It feels crisp on both ends of it. Very little, if no take up at all on the pull. A little bit of movement on that reset. It kicks you right back out to the front of that trigger pull. It is quite nice. They did a pretty good job here. I'm actually kind of impressed with this thing. I might have to get one of these. Okay, now let's move on to the verification of the specs portion of this video. So we're gonna start out with the, let me reach over and grab it, trigger pull gauge. I'm going to remove that mag yet again, because it's just going to be easier. Now they did say 5.5 pounds on the trigger pull. I'm gonna support it with my hand, push it against my chest. We're gonna give it maximum stability that we can right here. And we're gonna try this one more time, or for the first time, I'm sorry. In 3, 2. 5.39 pounds. So you're really looking at pretty much where, almost exactly where they predicted. If you're down on maybe the end of the trigger, you might be able to get down to like 4.5 pounds, but on average, you're looking at a 5 to 6 pound trigger pull, which is almost exactly what they quoted. So now let's move on to the weight portion of this video. Scales on the table. Let's go ahead and see exactly how much it weighs with the mag in it first. So you guys can see it, I can't. We are looking at 6.22 pounds. I'm going to verify really quickly. It did say 5.7 pounds on their website. So let's go ahead and remove the mag and see if we can't get closer to their stated weight. Again, I've not done this, I have no idea. You're seeing it before I am. 5.98, right? Not 6, it's 5.9. Yep, good, I can read upside down. Yeah, so it's a little bit heavier than they're actually quoting on their site. So we're just gonna call it a solid 6 without any ammo in there. This depth, or 6.2, dang. So keep that in mind when you're purchasing it. It is a little bit on the weighty side. However, don't forget, this is a value PCC and it definitely has a lot of features, but those features come with some added weight. Now, we're gonna move on to the final portion of this video and we're gonna measure it top to bottom just to give you some idea of what you're actually getting. I got it right here. So let's go ahead. Can I get it to stand? I sure can. Hopefully I don't knock it over. Let's go ahead and see how, now, again, you're gonna see this before I do, so I'm going to put it on the back and the front, and then I'm going to flip it over so I can see it. Right, almost 16 inches. So it looks like 15.75 inches long. So just a little bit longer than they were quoting as well. Now the height on this, because the mag is going to be quite different, so I'm going to go from the metal here all the way up to the top. We're going to flatten her out right there so you get an idea. That's pretty much the space you're gonna need in a bag. Turn it around so I can see it. Right at about 9.5 inches tall with the mag inserted. Give me 1 second, we can fix that. Without the mag, and doing it from the grip portion, you're looking at right just a little bit over 7, like 7.25 inches tall. Thickness, you're looking at 1.5 inches thick, maybe 1.75 to be a little bit more specific. So with that being said, that's pretty much everything I have for you guys today. This, of course, is the GForce BLADE6. Does it reach that value point for you? You can add a suppressor on here. You can add on pretty much anything you want, sights, brace, whatever you need. Oh wait, I forgot, there's more. In the box, it does come with polymer sights. So you do have a front and rear sight right out of the box, meaning when you get this, you can actually, you run it right out of the box. Write what you got. All you need is bullets. That's it. So that's always nice when a manufacturer does that. If you want to put your own red dot on there, that's up to you. It does also come with, my guess, little cleaning kit. You know, it does come with a little cleaning kit in the box as well. And now that is everything. Without further ado, that's all I have for you guys today. If you have any experiences with the BLADE6, I'm curious as to what your guys' experiences are. Please leave a review down below because we would love to see your comments. I'll be down there answering as many of the questions as I can, and I think we might even do a main channel video on this particular gun, so keep an eye out for that. That's all I got for you guys today. God bless, stay safe. It is time to end. Now, I wanna go shoot this thing.